of the whole waves on the outside of the building. Fortunately, the developer, the architect, saw the building for the first time. People noticed, hey, that looks like waves. Offload, stop after that. It's a bit like there's that large public art piece in Millennium Park, you know, that big rounded silvery thing, Cloud Gate. There you know the Cloud Gate, right? Cloud Gate? Yeah, we took one look at it and said, that looks like a giant bean, and the name has stuck ever since. Side note, apparently the artist Asian Park loves that thing. Not changing it anytime soon. So if you look here on the left-hand side, you guys will see this building with the yellow onion-shaped dome up at the top of it. That is the Hotel Intercontinental. It was originally the Medina Athletic Club, opened back in 1929. Finished back in 1929, it was originally the headquarters for the Shriners organization. You guys familiar with the Shriners? Subgroup of the Freemasons, you know, the guys with the fezzes. Well, a big part of that organization is this sort of emphasis on kind of a Moorish, North African, kind of Spanish Moorish aesthetic. So that they had a lot of money in clout during this kind of 1880s to 1930s period in Chicago. So you end up with this kind of vein of North African architecture running through a lot of Chicago during this period, and the Medina Athletic Center is probably the best example. Unfortunately, they funneled a lot of money into it and went bankrupt in the Great Depression, had to sell the building about 2 years after it was finished. Now, directly ahead of us, that white building with the clock tower, once again, is the Wrigley Building, finished in 1922 and 1924. Because as you can see as we get closer, it's actually technically two buildings. It's finished at two different times. It's considered one structure because of those walkways connecting the two sections. Now the building is coated entirely in glazed white terracotta tiling, which got really popular here in Chicago during this time period. One, it's relatively cheap. You can get these really ornate structures because it's a clay mold. You make the mold and repeat it over and over and over again, getting these really elaborate structures at a relatively low cost. Two, it's relatively lightweight, which matters a lot for a skyscraper. The lower the weight, the taller the building can be because you're holding up less overall. But the biggest reason why glazed white terracotta becomes popular in Chicago in particular, it's largely fireproofed. We got a little over-obsessed with fire prevention at a certain point in our history for some reason. Now we're about to pass underneath Michigan Avenue once again. This is another one of our low bridges. So those of you standing at this point, don't. But the bridge of Michigan Avenue is actually the only one that has a name separated. Oh, yep. Anybody going up the stairs, don't. This is why I try to announce it on the microphone. It means your hand, up to you. But this is one of the only bridges in the city that actually has a name. It's named the DeSable Bridge, and it's named for the father of the city, the first Chicagoan founder, Jean-Baptiste Montoussaint, who built a trading post at the north end of the bridge that now bears his name back in 1772. You can tell by his name he was a French speaker, but he wasn't actually. He was a French speaker, but he wasn't actually from France. He was actually Haitian. His mother was Haitian, he was born in Haiti. His father was a French privateer. So yes, the first Chicagoan was half Haitian, half pirate. But I like to think of him as kind of our modern. I try to live up to this example every day. I like to think he was smiling down on us during Prohibition at the very least. Now on the right, you can see the Trump International Hotel and Tower, 2009. This building was built by Adrian Smith, working under Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill, and it's currently the second tallest building in the city because it has a decorative spire on top of it. Without the decorative spire, it would only be the third tallest building in the city, so much like the Petronas Towers, it's kind of there on a technicality. If this building looks familiar to architecture buffs, it should. If you've ever seen the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the current tallest building in the world, same architect, same firm as well. So this is basically a prototype of the tallest building in the world. If you cut off the top of that, the top third of that building, plop it down to the river next to it, you would be hard pressed to tell the difference between the two. Well, there'd be one major difference. But aside from that, you could really tell they look about the same. Now, on the right, that large black building is the AMA Plaza, formerly the IBM Plaza. 1971, founded by German architecture, a guy named Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, father of the modernist style. And this building is a great example of modernism, which is kind of the opposite of postmodernism, where postmodernism is all about drawing inspiration and elements from an outside source. Modernism is essentially trying to create a building that has no context. The idea was you take a building like this, drop it down in any city, anywhere on Earth, and it would look equally out of place regardless of where you identify. Because it's not actually drawing anything around it, it was simply a building. And again, also allowed for taller skyscrapers because you strip away all that clay and granite and stone on the outside, leaving nothing but a steel frame that's what makes a skyscraper a skyscraper. Mies van der Rohe built a number of buildings here in Chicago. Chicago over the years. He was head of the architecture school at the Illinois Institute of Technology and trained a generation of architects there as well as behind our campus. His students include Bertrand Goldberg, the guy with the building next door, who spans some somewhat varied ideas on architecture. But Lee spent only a number of years in Chicago and started modernism here in the 1950s. He's actually buried